Hi everybody, I'm Lauren Tappan and welcome to the Walk's new interview series called The Word. I'll be interviewing people in our community to engage in conversations about culture, identity, fashion, beauty, and so much more. Hello, Jordan.
Hello.
Welcome to The Word.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm excited.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. So I know you, but for those of the people watching who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about what you're doing on campus and what you're involved in and pretty much just what you've been up to.
All right. Well, so I'm a senior in Wharton this year, studying marketing. And on campus, I would say most of my involvements have probably been very entrepreneurial. One of the main projects I've been working on since I came in from high school is this clothing line called Young Moguls brand. Something that my friend Brandon Iverson and I started back home in Atlanta, and really it's just a clothing line that's casual clothes, but we try to promote a positive message of entrepreneurship through the clothing. So that's something I'm definitely passionate about, trying to push it forward and everything like that. And then I'm also the co-founder of a nonprofit called YEDcorp, which stands for Youth Entrepreneurs Diversity Corporation. It's a mouthful, so we just go by YEDcorp. But this is an organization that's completely student run. I run it with two of my good friends that go to Northeastern University in Boston, and also a friend that goes to Lynn University in Florida. And we basically just have different opportunities for college students to explore entrepreneurship, to meet entrepreneurs and mentors.
That's awesome.
So we have a summit in the summer that's called the YED Summit, where we bring students from all across the country, and then we have little meetups in different cities as well that are more like networking events. And so that's something that's very near and dear to me. It takes up a lot of my time. Most recently, my involvement has been with publishing a book called Breaking the System. I'm really excited to be done and be able to share it now, but it's basically just about a variety of systems in life, whether it's school or your work environment, and not being afraid to challenge the system, to break the system, in order to find your own unique route, and also to challenge the system and to make it better for the people that are coming behind you. So those are, I would say, my main involvements right now.
That's so awesome.
Thank
that
you.
Sounds so cool. It sounds like you're managing a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
Well, let's talk about your book a little bit, because that's what I wanted to sort of uncover. But in terms of your book, do you talk about sort of finding your passion and uncovering your true potential? And if so, what kind of advice would you want to give to the viewers watching in terms of how exactly do you find your passion?
I think it's hard. I think sort of during college, these past 4 years, that's sort of been what I've been trying to do. And I don't know if I'm even there completely yet, but I think I'm closer than freshman year when I came in. So I guess what I'm working through in the book is that a lot of times, coming into systems and coming into, schools like Penn, it's really easy to sort of, instead of taking the time to find your own unique route, you sort of just go for the routes that are given to you. So from my personal experience, being in Wharton, everybody pretty much does the same two careers. They either go to consulting or finance, and very rarely people, do anything other than that. And, finance is interesting to me, but I think that relying on the crutch of that just being the status quo and the norm, I sort of gave up exploring some other things that I would have been interested in. So when I came into school, I was very entrepreneurial and passionate, but for a little while, I would say, freshman and sophomore year, I kind of neglected the entrepreneurship and was just sort of focused on career wise and not necessarily the things that I would associate with my calling or the things that I feel like I was given talents to do. So, my idea of this, or even just my advice would be to try different things. Even if they are against the norm, whether it's trying a class, trying an internship. Try the status quo and seeing if it's for you, but don't be afraid to, after trying it, say, I don't really think this is the best fit for, me and my talents. So that's how I've at least tried to approach it.
So I guess when moving through those different spaces or experiences, you kind of have to figure out what you don't want to do to figure out what you do want to do.
And having to be honest enough with yourself to honestly evaluate yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times people get a little dishonest with themselves when
Definitely.
like the job has a nice check, or when it's a job that your parents really like and want you to do.
Yeah.
So I think that it comes to a point where you have to just take an honest evaluation of like what makes you happy and what can you see yourself doing on an everyday basis, I guess.
Yeah. And in terms of that, how do you sort of like block out that background noise, whether it is your parents kind of wanting you to do something else, or like the I don't know, thinking about like another job that might pay better? How do you sort of like stay focused and grounded in terms of knowing what you want to do, or what you're passionate about, and sort of forget about everything that either certain systems have set up to expect from you, or
I mean, I feel like it's hard. I think it's definitely hard, especially the parent one.
Yeah.
Because obviously I think a lot of parents have great intentions for their kids, and they just want their kids to be secure and, you know, to be set in life. No parent really wants to see their kids struggle and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think at certain times it can get so protective to the point where you're sort of stifling your kids' like potential to do what they love, that you're trying to make them either go, you know, the route that you did or the route that you wanted to do or something like that, and you're sort of parenting them from your perspective. So I think at times my parents might have done that when I was younger, but I think as I've gone through high school and college, I've really appreciated that they sort of let me run free a little bit. And I think it's for your benefit if you're able to, as hard as it is, because I think that a lot of times, ironically, the most success, you know, whether it's monetary or even just personal happiness, success, comes when you're actually doing the stuff that you love.
Yeah.
Like, you can try to do the stuff that pays well and everything like that, but I think that you just put your heart into it more, and that you put more effort into things when it's stuff that you love to do. Like, like seeing you do the stuff that you do at the walk. Like, obviously, I think you would do that work more passionately and better than if you did, you know, some random job, no matter how high paying it is. Because it's something that connects with you.
Definitely.
So I think that sometimes it even involves having a heart-to-heart with a parent about that. Like, that's a conversation me and my dad have had, like in high school, just, you know, being able to say, like, this is the route I want to go and not this. And I would appreciate your support if you know, help me to do this, and I'm sure that it'll work out fine.
Yeah. Wow, that's great advice.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that's easier said than done.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, a lot of my roommates have conversations with me about that. Like, my parents are not going for me, going for this type of career field and stuff like that. But I think it's a conversation that should happen.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like that happens to a lot of us. I know, like, I've experienced something like that. I'm sure, like, my brother has, like, my friends have. So it's a very, like, universal experience for sure. But in terms of, like, doing everything that you're doing right now, becoming an author, that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
But also handling the YED Summit, and then just the other endeavors that you've been involved in. How do you think that you have managed it in terms of staying balanced and organized? Like, what do you think really grounds you in that?
That's a good question. I would say on the grand scheme, I think everything is balanced. On the day-to-day, it doesn't really feel like everything is balanced. Because I think that it's kind of not on the day-to-day, just because of priorities. For instance, like, no matter how I might prioritize my schedule, just the way things come up, certain things might be more important. Like, today, I might need to focus more on the YED Summit, more so than, like, you know, Young Moguls or something like that. Or on another day, I might have a lot of schoolwork, and I need to tell myself that the YED work needs to go to the back burner just because of priorities.
Okay.
So I would say that just sort of, in a sense, having a schedule, but also being willing to be flexible. And I've just been trying to become a lot more disciplined. And I think that, you know, living with my roommates this year is helping do that. Shout out to Palumi, he's definitely helped me do that. But just being more disciplined in terms of, you know, waking up earlier, trying to, like, work out in the mornings, get your day going. And it just kind of makes me more attentive in everything I'm doing. I think having my phone around less plays, like, a big part in that. just like trying to limit screen time and be present in what I'm doing and who I'm doing it with.
Right.
And then I'd say the last thing is like having a really good team, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, having 180 people in the walk.
Yeah.
But like as talented as any one person is, you can't do it yourself.
Right.
So, as much as I love to contribute to Yed Summit, I can't, I can never do that all by myself.
Yeah.
The rest of that team is very important, and it's very important for me to be able to realize that I can't do this by myself. I have to delegate to different people.
Yeah.
Because probably they can do it better than me, and if we all do better stuff, if we all do our own thing in different areas, we can all be successful more than any one of us could be just by ourselves. Definitely. So I think that's probably the biggest part, is like the team element.
Yeah, I feel like teamwork is definitely important and essential in terms of balancing multiple things at one time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but another thing that I wanted to talk about, I guess I kind of wanted to go back to a point that you made earlier in terms of getting up in the mornings and working out. So would you say that setting your day or beginning your day with like physical exercise sort of helps with your like mental process as well?
Yeah, definitely. This is something I used to do in high school a lot. Like me and my dad used to work out a lot in the mornings when I was in high school, and when I got to college, it kind of just changed. Like before this year, senior year, I was definitely the person that was staying up to like 2, 3 a.m. and just wake up later. Sort of more like a night owl, but now I've been trying this year and a little bit of last year to change that.
Yeah.
I think it has had a big effect. Just like, yes, sort of, I think it's more so from a discipline point of view, that the fact of like disciplining myself to get up early, I think makes me more disciplined with everything else after that. So like being disciplined to do my homework, being disciplined to set time to work on Yed Summit and stuff like that. And not just giving myself free reins to sleep as long as I want, or to stay up as late as I want. I think those self inflicted limits on my life are good for instilling discipline. So I think that goes along with the gym in the morning too, just in terms of like getting your mindset right.
Yeah.
Like I like to go in the morning and play basketball because nobody's really there, and you just like sort of get to train your mind to be disciplined, to get in the mode of being active and to clear your head a little bit. And I think I go into the rest of the day a lot more productive. Yeah. Just feeling like I've already got a head start.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I'm trying to keep that up for.
I need to do the same thing. I feel like I honestly feel like I need to do that as well. But yeah, no, I definitely think that it helps in terms of just scheduling the rest of your day too. Like I feel like if you start off like, maybe getting a workout in, or whether it's just even like walking outside or just doing something that's not involved so much in technology or like, I don't know, or work related. I think it helps to shape the rest of your day in a really like positive light. But yeah, another thing that I wanted to talk about is sort of this like concept of success. So I know it's a really broad topic. I know it's a really broad topic. But I think success is relative.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely depending on who you are as a person and what path you're going on. So I would say for you, what do you think is sort of, I know this is a big question, so feel free to break it down too. What do you think is like your key to your accomplishments? If you had to pick like one thing, what kind of sort of keeps you grounded and keeps you going towards whatever goal you set?
That's a really good question. I would say, I think it's kind of changed for me a lot, like drastically since I got to college. I think before college, or even the first few years of college, I would have said it was just really work ethic and discipline and focus and just being able to put in more work than like average. I think that's drastically changed now. Like I don't think that's as much the result of success. I think it's more so like right now I'm sort of in the mood of trying to like be a person who has less of an ego, not necessarily with ego in the terms of like being cocky, but ego in the terms of only thinking about yourself a lot, or being worried about how other people perceive you and stuff like that. And I just have seen that a lot of different areas in my life, those problems, or whether it's just internal or interacting with others have come from a sense of ego or pride, or only thinking about yourself and not, or broadening your mindset. Mm-hmm. So I would say that nowadays, the things I've been successful in, that I count as success, I think has come from just the fact that I feel like there's a higher power above me that is working through me, I guess you could say. Yeah. And I feel more in tune with that it's not all about me, but everything has a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that tying into that bigger purpose, you just feel like you have less to lose, because it's not really about you. Definitely. It's not about your eternal image or whatever like that. And I think what you said about the image of success is really interesting. Yeah. Because like every system has its own connotation of success. There's a image of success at Penn. And I think it's kind of dangerous at times when you subscribe to it too much.
Yeah, or when you compare yourself to other people.
And when you compare yourself. Yeah. I think that people would be a lot more happier and see themselves as successful if they didn't compare themselves. And I just feel like which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to, we talked about screen time and trying to be off the phone, trying to be off social media. I think that it's good, to share fun stuff and see stuff you love on social media, but eventually I think a lot of social media is just comparisons and, trying to compare other people's levels of success and things like that. And I think a lot of times that just strips people of their joy and their happiness and their idea of success. So I would say, to me, success should be something that's completely isolated from what everybody else is doing. Yeah. It's cool to compare, to see progress and things like that, but I think it's just a game with yourself and what you feel like matters.
Yeah, that was a really good answer to the question. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But speaking of success, I know that you have a lot of success planned for you in the future too.
Hopefully.
So graduation is coming up in about 4 months.
Yeah, that's crazy.
First of all, how are you feeling about that?
Well, it's a bittersweet. Obviously, so I'm ready to graduate because I am tired of school. And I'm tired of homework and stuff like that. So like I'm looking forward to graduation from that reason. Right. But I've met a lot of really cool people at Penn and made a lot of great relationships with, friends who will be really good friends for the rest of my life. Yeah. So it is kind of sad thinking that this might be, not the last time I see these people, but the last time I get to interact with them on such an intimate level every day. Because a lot of my friends are going to different parts of the country after this, doing jobs in different industries. Yeah. But I think that feeling has made me realize how much like each one of these days matters, trying to like have a lot of fun, to be present in these relationships and enjoy them, because I think these times and the experiences we're having right now will be the ones we look back on years later and just laugh at all the time. So I'm trying to be more on the happy side with it, but I'm definitely kind of in my feelings about it too.
Sure. Have you shed a tear?
I've shed it. Well, I think I've internally shed a tear. I think I really will when graduation gets close.
I think I will cry too.
I'm going to have some sunglasses or something, because there's definitely going to be some tears.
Yeah, no, it's coming up soon though. But like in terms of graduation, when you move on, there's obviously like this period of transition when you're moving out of one space into another. And obviously sometimes it can be sort of daunting. Yeah. But how do you feel like you're going to not only remain focused, but just remain calm in those moments of transition? Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot for the past few months, because historically I'm someone who like doesn't really do well in those periods of transition. Like they hit me pretty hard emotionally. Just knowing from like how my transition from high school was, or different life transitions. But I'm thankful for those experiences, because I think it's going to better equip me for the transition after college. Yeah. And I think that right now is sort of like just being in this mentality that you have to prepare for like the valley before you actually get there, sort of. I think like right now in the season of graduation, it's really fun and your emotions are on a high, and then it can kind of hit you really hard when life changes and stuff like that, and you're not ready for it. So what I'm trying to do now in this period is, while I'm having a lot of fun and, really enjoying the moment, just being able to look over the hill a little bit and be ready emotionally for how I can deal with, that transition that will come down the line. Yeah. And I think that even means like planning for how I can maintain the relationships I have here at Penn in a good way. And this has been an interesting transition. Like, I think even right now I'm sort of in a transition where a lot of my roommates know what they're doing, you know, next year after college, and I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know that I want to go to Atlanta, but as far as career-wise, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So it's really been, you know, like I was talking about a little before, like sort of trusting in God with it. I think that it's been a good experience.
Yeah.
Having to say, like, I don't have everything figured out right now, but
and that's okay.
And it's okay. I'm going to trust that it will work out, and in the moment of transition, I can still be happy and have a lot of fun and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that in those transitions, there's definitely still hope to like enjoy life and have fun and trust that, you know, the transition will happen eventually.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great advice. No, I think it's really helpful. And I'm so glad that you came here today because I feel like so many people, yeah, of course. No, it's funny because we always run into each other, but to actually like get to sit down and talk with you about this, I think it's super helpful. Especially to everyone who's listening to this as well. I think it'll really help them along the way too.
Definitely.
So yeah.
And shout out to you for all the great work you're doing with the walk.
Oh yeah.
And the rest of the team.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be able to experience everything you guys do. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Okay.